We are live. We are live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, episode 82, featuring Cristy Luz Encarnacion. I hope everybody's doing well. Man, I haven't been out here it seems like I haven't been out here for a while. But I hope everybody doing well. Hope everybody doing good. First off, this probably might be one of the last episodes. I'm gonna be taking a break due to our family situations, emergency and stuff. I've been dealing with some family stuff I have to take care of. I've been, dealing with it for quite a while and stuff. And me being the only person on the podcast consistently, I won't be able to do it by myself as we go on. So I'm gonna take some time off and take care of that family situation and stuff like that. But I hope everybody's doing good. I always appreciate everybody coming on, rocking with me, rocking with the Elite Podcast. You guys always supporting. So, get back to the drawing board when everything is situated with the family and stuff like that. And then we're going to be back again. You know what I'm saying? But I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome. Episode 82. We're going to be honoring, celebrating. I can't wait to hear Cristy Luz Encarnacion story. It's been 82 episodes, man, within 11 months. That's a lot. That's a lot. So I've been putting in a lot of work and everything. So I always appreciate everybody supporting. Just want to big up the Legends 340, Savory Eats. We got the Melted Pot cooking class. Definitely next level of printing. Calypso Clothing LLC. Hungry Hearts Hustle Apparel. Big up to Caribbean Girls Rock. Meltedbycroix.com. Make sure you guys check out the website. Meltedbycroix.com. Make sure you guys check out the website. Handmade scented wax, so it's definitely dope. It smells good, so make sure you guys check that out. Shout out to Rico and everybody, man. Shout out to everybody doing the thing and everything. So as you guys go see on the ticker to the bottom, you go see different names and representation of the businesses and stuff like that we always big up and stuff like that. So I hope everybody doing well once again. Previous episode we had Livewire Sports, man. We had the panel and everything, man. So that was dope. You being able to get a whole, not the whole crew, but most of the crew on. Lorena, Shaq, Shane and Jelani. It was good to see them come on. And then we had a young lady came on as well representing Livewire Sports. I forgot her name and I apologize, but she came on for a couple minutes and stuff like that. She had classes and stuff like that. But it was a dope episode, man. Amazing being able to listen to them. It was a lot of jokes. Definitely shout out to them, getting to know them individually and how Livewire Sports was created and how it started. It was dope to hear, man. They do a lot of stuff for the Virgin Islands. They they sacrifice a lot of their time and energy. They're not really getting paid for it. It's a non-profit organization, but they're making dreams and creating memories for all the different individuals, especially all the local athletes in high school, little league, and also the parents, them who always come out and support the kids watching the games and stuff like that. All the other stuff that they're doing. I'm not in the Virgin Islands, so I'm not sure everything that they do, but it was good to hear all that they do, man. And hopefully they could continue to grow. Hopefully they could end up getting a network, and being able to broadcast a lot of different stuff. High school sports, professional sports, the Olympics, all the different stuff that's associated with the Virgin Islands. So they have the VI national team, the women's national team. They have the Ameri Cup, and that's in San Juan from June 11th to the 19th. So make sure you guys check that out. Check out Livewire Sports, their page, and make sure you guys check it out. June 11th to the 19th. In San Juan, Puerto Rico, the Ameri Cup, the Ameri Cup. So make sure you guys check that out. Also, Livewire Sports, they have a YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go follow them on the YouTube channel. It's Livewire Sports. And that's on YouTube. Also, Livewire Sports VI. That's on Instagram as well, too. So make sure you guys check that out as well, too. Anytime you guys want to donate to Livewire Sports, they have their email is livewiresportsvi@gmail.com. So make sure you guys check that out. So if you guys want to donate or do anything, because they always doing stuff for the youth them. But definitely shout out to Livewire Sports for appearing on the Elite Podcast. It was fun. Make sure you guys check out that episode. There's a lot of jokes. It's fun, man. And I enjoy my time with them. I could do a show with them any given time and stuff like that. It was a lot of jokes. So hopefully they get a podcast. Hopefully Elite Podcast hopefully the Livewire Sports get a podcast, man. They definitely they'll definitely be dope. So hope everybody doing well. Shout out to Christopher Henry, C Boogie Talks. He was sick. So hopefully he's feeling better. C Boogie Talks will be back on May 20th. So definitely big up to Christopher Henry. Hopefully you're feeling better. Hopefully you're feeling good. So definitely love and respect to you, brother. Good night to everybody. Good night to everybody tuning in. I know some of you guys tuning in, but like I said, this probably gonna be my last episode for quite a while. I have some family stuff I gotta take care of. I've been dealing with it for quite a while. But me being the only person on the podcast consistently throughout the whole 11 months, I have taken a toll. And I gotta take time off and focus on the family and focus on some stuff that I gotta take care of, man. You can't get back time. I've given a lot of time to a lot of individuals and stuff like that. So I got definitely give time to the family and stuff like that, because that's time you can't get back his time. But I appreciate how you guys always rocking with me, supporting as well too. So definitely shout out to everybody tuning in. Miss Richards, I see you. Karian, I see you. Big up to C Boogie Talks. Andrea, I see you. Anybody else that's in, big up to yourself. But we're gonna get into our future guests. Episode 82. Like I said, 82 episodes in 11 months. That's a lot of episodes. So definitely put in a lot of time. Supporting the VI. So with further ado, I know you guys didn't come here to hear me talk and blab on my mouth all day and all night. So episode 82 featuring Cristy Luz Encarnacion. Welcome to Lily Podcast. Welcome. Good evening.
Hi, everyone.
Hey. How you doing? How's everything?
Good, pretty good.
Good. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
So how has your week been? How's everybody? How's everything going with you?
It's pretty good. I had to come into work. I'm at the spa right now. So I had one customer today. So it's been pretty good. I started the business 2 months ago. So just
nice.
building clientele. I'm in the city on 34th Street. So it's the business right now.
Okay, nice. First of all, congratulations on starting your business 2 months ago. So that's good, man.
Thank you.
Since we're on the topic of business, and then we definitely gonna rewind back, but how has it been starting a business, and how challenging has been?
Well, fortunately, it has not been so challenging, because I have a friend that he has a spa in Atlanta. So he had been telling me, hey, go to school, do these things so I can open up a shop in New York and you can help me. And with volleyball, it was like year round. I was coaching at Baruch and I was coaching at a girls club in Yonkers. And so volleyball was like ongoing, no time for myself. So that was like a beautiful thing. It's that COVID provided to me, was to press pause on my life and kind of look back and kind of analyze, like, if something like this happens again, I need to have an income, something that I can continue. And volleyball wasn't that, apparently. So so that's what kind of inspired me to go to school, take these classes, and open a business. And so my partner, Ray Fair, he's in Atlanta. He's he helped me out and provided, so it's been a collaboration, and it's been really smooth, and just kind of just right now sitting back, just lasering away. We have deals on Groupon, so a lot of the ladies have been coming in to get their bodies lasered, and so it's fun. It's like an experience. I try to create a nice environment in the spot, so when you come in, and because ultimately you have to get undressed, so it's like, it's like, hey, I want it to be comfortable. And so that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, nice. Yeah, definitely comfortability is important, so boy,
Yeah.
from what I see, it looks like it's a nice comfortable, location. It looks good. It looks like it's relaxing, so
I
that's good.
try. We have some paintings, we have crystals, it reminds me of my sister, and the unicorn. It's like
Nice.
my dad is really big into horses, so that
Okay.
that was important to me to have these little things, to come in and make me happy, when I step in. And work hasn't been like work, like volleyball coaching is like fun to me, so
Yeah.
it hasn't been like work, it's like, so this is kind of the same way. Like I come in, I listen to my gospel in the morning, I give praise, and I just prepare myself for the clients ahead.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So with you started this 2 months ago, and with all the pandemic and the COVID and a lot of different restrictions and stuff like that, was there anything extra you had to do that you didn't think you had to do, or any in type of insurance you had to get just because of the whole COVID?
um Well, the machine, because it's a space, is insured. We have insurance on it. But I had been taking the COVID, the shots, the vaccine, because I'm coming in contact with a lot of people, and in the future, once we find a gym to start the club again, I'll be in contact with these kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Also, to play sports, I think now you have to have your vaccine with Division 2 and 3 sports, the athletes, or if you're coming into school on campus, you have to have the vaccine. So, I've been taking strides to be safe for myself, my family, the people I come in contact with. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to and talk about yourself, talk about your family, or talk about you growing up. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Puerto Rico. I'm the only sibling to be born in Puerto Rico. I'm the youngest of three. Um, Like I remember first, like we stayed at our grandmother's place in Richmond, which was right next to Red Brick,
Yeah.
in the border. Um, so that was really good. I went to We Care daycare, right, like walking distance from my grandma. Uh, and then I attended Lumaco School, where my mom, she was a big kindergarten teacher at the
Okay.
time. She always had lines for enrollments in her classes. Like it was crazy. And I used to, when I was grown, I would go back and help her do the bulletin boards and stuff and read to the kids. And, they were also excited to see, oh, Miss Encarnacion child, like,
Yeah.
so it was like all this love. But yeah, went to Lumaco for a little bit. I think kindergarten, first, second, and third. Then I went to St. Mary's
Okay.
school for I think third and fourth grade, and that's where I met Lazi. I met like I had a bunch of cousins that went there: Siobhan Romney, Chanel Quincas, Michonne. Uh, yeah, Tiffany Paris, Chantel Hobson. They all went. Janae James, I think, went to St. Mary's too. Um, so I met a lot of good people there. Um, from there, I went back to Lumaco because something happened and we had to be pulled out. Me and my brother.
Oh.
So yeah, so he went. I think he went to Mana School, and I went back to Lumaco. Graduated. I actually had a teacher named Mr. Pugh, but I don't think it was the Pugh you interviewed.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
uh, I crossed over. I had Miss Mirai as a teacher, Miss Sargent. Um, yeah, that was my Lumaco days. When I graduated Lumaco, sixth grade, I went to Woodson, and my dad was a PE teacher in Woodson. So it was a lot of anxiety, being his child in Woodson, and
Yeah.
you know, I met some good people there too. Akito Lindquist, Amber Lindquist, Chisa Brooks. Um, Jarali. Who else was there? There's a lot of people there that I met, and at the time it was till ninth grade.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Um,
You mentioned something earlier. I remember in elementary when you got promoted to the next grade. You eat the information will be passed on, so you would know who was the good teachers, who was the strict teachers, the teachers them that would spank or beat. During that times the teachers used to beat. So when you got promoted to like a certain grade, you were like, no, like man, I want to be in this class. I want to be in this class. So when you were saying that, all the kids was lined up to your mom class. I remember that. I remember that feeling as a kid. You wanted to be in certain teacher's class and stuff like that because
yeah,
you hear
and
students talking about it.
so what happened is like my mom would teach a kid, and then they would have kids, and they would want their kid to go to my mom's class. So it was generational, like change
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, it was really cool.
Was it tough having your parents then being teachers? Was it tough going to school while they were teaching at the school for you?
Well, it was a lot easier at my mom's school because she's the more passive parent. You know, if you're looking for me, I would be in her class, so everybody knew to call.
Yeah, you're the luxury.
Yeah, it was really tough in Woodson because my dad, he was a big, person on campus. And it don't let him fail a student, and them see me in the hallway, So that was always like, a bunch of anxiety and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
Did you
And
play?
from what,
Oh,
huh?
sorry. Go ahead. My apologies.
No, I was gonna say from Woodson I went to Country Day.
Okay, the country day.
Yeah, Country Day school.
How was that transition going from Woodson, a public school, to a private school as in country day?
It was pretty good. My sister had went there previously, so I was just all the excited to like, follow in her footsteps and stuff. I actually went on a volleyball scholarship.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so like, yeah, they pretty much recruited me from Woodson, and so yeah, I had a scholarship. I got some help to go to Country Day.
That's good.
And yeah, I think it really prepared me for what was to come with college and stuff, like the schoolwork or whatever. It was tough. It was really tough, especially doing like two sports and stuff and school. So yeah, it was good though. I loved the whole school spirit, Tigers. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, country day Tigers. What? So you mentioned you played volleyball. What's the other sport you played also?
Um, well, my dad coached baseball, so that was like something I had to do. Um, and it brought some challenges in the household and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. Did you enjoy playing baseball or no? No, you were
Um,
more volleyball.
it was a lot of like shit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Someone called and now I can't hear you. So
You have
um
yeah you. Oh, since I was gonna tell you, she can't hear me, so I won't be able to let her know. Let's see.
you can hear me now?
I could hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it happen, you can. If anything, you can always go out and come back in too. If that happened.
Okay.
Yeah. Something that happened when someone called the person. Yeah.
What was the question? I don't know what we were talking about.
So
Baseball?
no, yeah, you didn't enjoy playing baseball. No, you enjoy playing volleyball. Did you? So did you end up getting a how did your transition go into college? Did you get like a scholarship for volleyball?
Well, so I started a little late trying to get scholarships to go to school. I got accepted to like big schools, Penn State, George Mason. I did my research on where I wanted to go, but um, you know, with scholarships, you pretty much got to start as early as possible. Like freshman, you have your list of schools that you want to go to and
Yeah.
start building videos then and contacting the coaches or whatever. Even, at whatever skill level you at, like you have to start
That's true.
like early. And yeah, it that was like a big challenge for me. And being stubborn because these schools they saw my tape and they wanted me to play for them, but there was no money. So they were talking about redshirting me the first year or whatever, and I probably should have went that route, but I was like, I'm pretty good, I want to play my first year, I work hard.
Yeah.
So being a little hard-headed, it took me to Idaho for a semester,
Wow.
to Lewis and Clark State College.
That's far.
Yeah, it was.
That's far.
But I was resilient. I wanted to play, and I was like, no, I'm going. I don't want to get redshirted.
Yeah.
So the program, didn't progress or whatever. It was a new program. So that's what took me to Queens College in New York. And so first game, first tournament, we were playing Vassar College, and I remember having one kill. And at that time, I think still now in the sport, like if you coming from the islands, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, the Virgin Islands, they knew you were like elite.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like the whole team was from the Caribbean, and I was new, and maybe like they felt threatened or whatever. A player came under the net, fell on my knee, and just like
Jeez.
tore my right knee, like ACL was gone. So at that point, like it challenged my faith, and like a lot of stuff, like it really crushed me because, it's like all of these steps I took to get to where I want to be and play the sport and kind of make my name.
Yeah.
Here comes the injury that just really took me out of everything. So, I got hurt, scholarship was taken away, because, I wasn't going to play. So that took me to Alcorn, to Mississippi.
Oh wow. You've been
A lot of links, like you say,
yeah, it's
people
been some
are linked
journeys.
by like 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
It took me to Alcorn. My brother was already there on campus. So he's a year ahead of me. Um, so I went to Alcorn on academic scholarship, and that's where I really started coaching. I
Okay.
coached the volleyball team, that I was the assistant, and we got second in SWAC that year. I think it was 2000.
Oh nice.
Yeah, and that's where officially I got my first chance to coach. And at that time I still like I did it because I could, but it still wasn't like something. I was younger. It wasn't something that I planned to like dive in head first. I was still
Yeah.
trying to figure out what I was gonna do with myself. So yeah,
So you was coaching while going to school?
yes.
Okay, that's a good start. That's a good start. How was that transition like to Idaho?
Man, I was so eager to leave the island. I didn't care. It was a long drive. Like we had to fly into like Boise and then drive in
Yeah.
to Lewiston. A lot of potatoes in the morning, tater tots, baked potato, French fries for lunch, and potatoes again for dinner. Yeah, I met a lot of good people there. Unfortunately, like there wasn't Facebook and all that then,
Yeah,
so I
that's
lost contact with them. Um, but yeah, it was really good. I had a good experience. I met, really good friends. and they treated me good. It was like the first time getting to see a Virgin Islander, so everybody was so excited, and
Yeah,
you know,
that's
I
cool.
felt, you know, special. You know, like I'm the
Yeah.
only one on campus. So
Yeah, sometimes going those type of places, it kind of open up your eyes and your vision of how the world
yeah,
is and stuff like that. You get to experience new things, etc. So it's always a good experience to be in a uncomfortable place that you think is uncomfortable and is not really that uncomfortable. You know. So
yeah.
you are Alcorn State and you're starting to get into coaching. Did you was coaching? Did you always want to be a coach, or you kind of just went with the flow and it just happened?
Yeah, I just went with the flow. It was something that was I felt like I can do with ease, you know, and I, you know, I really enjoyed Alcorn because it provided like a campus life where at Queens, you know, everybody commuted, you know, so it's
Mm,
like there was no dorms and stuff. So at Alcorn there was dorms, there was, you know, fraternity life, sorority, you know, student activities. They had a
yeah.
big football team. You know, halftime was like super lit with the Golden Girls. So yeah, it was a good experience. So I was just proud to like be able to help out. You know, I was really happy about that.
Was there any people from the Virgin Islands attending Alcorn while you was attending?
Um, while I was there, I think Dario Rosa had been there like a
Okay,
year prior. I know Mark Phillips went there before. I don't
that's true.
I'm not sure if they were there while I was there, but I know you know, my dad was able to get them there um like years prior to me being there, but I don't recall them actually being there that year. And then Artie came after.
Okay, RT came after.
Yeah.
You did you was he already did you
Oh,
already left?
Violet was there.
Oh, Violet was there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, nice, nice.
I coached Violet. Yeah.
Oh, you coach Violet?
Yeah, we actually was we were around the same, you know, volleyball family back home. You
That's
know,
true.
we played for the same coach, Miss Nemi Felix,
Yeah,
Ophelia
me.
William.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome that you was able to coach her.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty good. Did you end up? How long did you coach at Alcorn State?
For a year.
Oh, just for a year.
For a year, and then I left. You know, Twin Towers crashed, and I was like, I'm not staying in school. You know, like silly of me, you know. But which led me to Atlanta. You know, because I had friends there. Actually, Jomo Dapwell's brother, he was a good friend of mine.
Okay.
So Zikomo, so he was living in Atlanta. So I went there. Um, it didn't work out there for me, and then I went to New York where I started working in public health. And yeah, I did public health for like 10 years, HIV testing, outreach, um, phlebotomy, case management, all of that stuff. Yeah.
That sounds like difficult work right there.
It was really rewarding, but like really stressful and draining, you know, because it's like you take a patient that like they're pretty much like about to die, and you have to like instill like, you know, the reason to live, and, you know,
Mm,
educate them on the medicine and their condition, and make sure they're making their appointments, make sure they're coming to draw blood the week before their appointment so they can prepare and, you know, and track their progress. Then you had a curriculum to teach them about, you know, taking their medication and, you know, all that stuff. So it was good because I was passionate about it. I had a family member that passed away from the AIDS pandemic, and
okay.
so that was like really close to home, and you know, that's what drove me and kept me in there so long. You know, helping others, and yeah.
Dealing with those type of I guess I could call it, dealing with those type of patients. Was it challenging some days to even like to go into work and do what you had to do, just knowing the circumstances and and what the patients are going through, and as you said, you had a family member that passed away due to the AIDS pandemic. Was it just some days was it just real tough on you?
Yeah, that was actually the reason why I stopped.
Mm.
Because like they teach you that you have to like compartmentalize, and work is work, home is home. But when you start caring for a person, you take that home with you, and you're always trying to figure out, different ways to help them out. So,
Yeah.
it was like a continuous like giving, um, and oftentimes like, I forgot about taking care of myself, you know. Uh, so yeah, I was burnt out in public health, and also, I was working um for a place that I felt like didn't feel the same way I felt about the patients, like
Oh
I
wow.
cared like wholeheartedly, and I felt like management, like, like they was there, like they did it, but mostly for the money.
For
And,
the yeah, for a paycheck.
yeah, and that was like really telling, like, me as a worker, like I'm talking to the patient, and when they leave, then you want to like talk bad about them, but I'm still there,
Wow.
you know? Like I'm still caring for that person. So like I'm reflecting, and I'm like, wow, like is that how you really feel about them? So yeah, like I had to really like, you know, s- have a conversation with myself, and I'm like, is this where I want to continue being? Um, and also, like I didn't finish in college, which, you know, like I bumped my head like so many times, like, like there was a supervisor position, and I've been there 5 years doing the work. Like it really should have been my job.
Yeah.
But they hired somebody with a degree, and then I had to be the one to train them. So it was like, no, that doesn't sit right with me. So like I left, I resigned. Um, I tried to move to Orlando for a bit where my family is, and that didn't work out. So yeah, Orlando's tough too. Like if you don't have a degree in Orlando, they don't, it's like, nope, I don't care about your experience and stuff. Like I need a degree.
You need a
So,
degree, yeah.
it's like I kept bumping my head with this degree stuff. And my mom, that's one thing she asks of me is like, hey, could you finish school? I'm like, all right, like I was just always trying to make my own lane, and I'm like, man, like all these people just spending money getting like let's say, like get a degree, like half of them don't even work in their field, and
That's true.
so,
That is
but
true.
it's important. So to the kids that are watching, get your degree.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
true.
trying to sway you away. Get your degree.
We have a question here from Andre. What did you do to overcome your burnout stress level?
Well, I left the public health situation, and just, you know kind of indulge, like, started doing something else that wasn't that. um I don't, I'm sure it's much more challenging if you stick in the field, and like, but you have to take time for yourself, take a vacation. You have to decompress, when it comes to, you know being burnt out and emotions building and stuff like that. You have to really self-care, find out ways that you can take care of yourself, to, because everybody's different, so
That's
just
true.
clear your mind. And yeah, I had to leave, though. It wasn't a choice of staying and doing stuff to feel better. I just left.
You just left.
Yeah.
So getting into when did you start getting into coaching club volleyball?
uh 2018. um I pretty much needed a job, and I was going through the jobs, and as Indeed. Indeed, and I saw a posting for assistant coach at Baruch College, and also at Riverdale. Riverdale is a high school here in New York, in the Bronx area.
Okay.
So I reached out, I applied to both schools. Riverdale got back to me like the soonest. So I did the interview at Riverdale. I pretty much got the job at Riverdale, and then Baruch called, like, "Hey, we would like to interview you."
Wow.
At the
That's
time,
perfect
it was
timing.
like for the women's season in September, so it was like summertime, June. And when he called, I was like, "Hey, like I could take the chance and try to interview with him, but am I gonna get the job? You know, this is a college, assistant coach, so."
Yeah.
In Spanish, they say the first light, la primera luz que alumbra, is the first light that shines, go with it, sometimes. So I went with Riverdale because they offered me the job. Um, that's where I met Miss Marie Cranston. She's from Haiti. She was the head coach and I was the assistant. She's actually the owner of the girls club in Yonkers that I coach with. So I call her Juju. So I met her there. The challenge there at Riverdale, it was an Ivy League school, prep school for kids going to like Columbia, Harvard, and Yale and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they
Football
had
and
this
stuff.
ruling that if you made the team as a freshman, like they have to keep you for your 4 years in high school. So,
Wow.
which made no sense to me and to the coach because it's like you're not challenging the players to be better
It's
on the off
true.
time. So, being that was the rule, we had like 5 or 6 girls that could not provide anything to us, and that's half the team.
Yeah.
So, we starting out with a deficit. So we won one game
One
that
game.
year, one game.
Jeez.
And to us, like, yeah, they look, oh yeah, you win in one game, but it's like, listen, you have 2 great coaches, but you starting them off with their hands tied. Like how? We can't
Yeah.
even pick our own team because it's like, okay, like we need to put this one girl because her mom is on the PTA and stuff, but she's,
Yeah.
not good. So it's like, so that presented an issue, which led me to Baruch because I was like, no, I can't stay here. I can't. Like, I'm not doing what I want to do here. I'm not. So
Yeah. That's
I reached
tough.
out to Baruch. Yeah, it was tough. Having a losing season is definitely tough. Really super tough. So that led me to Baruch. So I reached out to the coach again. I'm like, hey, I just finished at Riverdale. Do you still need a assistant coach? And he was like, yeah. So I went there. His name is Kevin Edwards. He's a Trinidadian coach at Baruch. He's the head coach. And Heather McCullough is the athletic director. So, I went to them, I interviewed, I got the job. So I started at Baruch in 2019 with the men's season. So I was coaching, super nervous because, with men's volleyball, it's like, like it's like a bunch of guys and I'm like, I'm going, like
Yeah.
having a girl coach in a men's sport is like, it's kind of tough because
It could be
they're looking at
intimidating.
you like, what is she gonna teach me? Like,
Yeah.
so so that to me like was a personal challenge, and how I overcame it is like I got on the court with them. I showed them that I can play with them.
Mm.
So they're serving bullets like boo, boo, boo. And I'm on the other side passing it like to target. And they're like, whoa, like, so that's how I gained my respect with the team, showing them that I can hang with them, like I can pass anything. Like I was actually the better passer, and so that led me to like coaching the defensive specialists and the liberos and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
Um,
that definitely could be, challenging. Being the only female coaching in in the men's team. Like
yeah,
I saw a lot of stereotype, sexist stuff. All that stuff plays a part with the individual decisions and how they treat you and stuff like that. How did they treat you being a
well,
female coach?
um, well, Coach Edwards, he was from day one. He's like, "This is Christy. You're gonna respect her like you respect me, and
Yeah.
we here to play the sport." You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just do that. And he didn't allow it from day one. Like, so it was like that was a beautiful thing. To that he had command of his team, and I really look up to him still. To like I learned a lot from him, like as being his assistant. And that I cherish that relationship, like with me and him. Like we still go, like I still go to his place and we'll watch volleyball, and he coaches like a lot of beach volleyball, so it's
Okay.
different things. So yeah, like we have a good understanding. And so that year he had been there since 2016, I think, at Baruch. And 2019 came, and Hunter College had the championship for those few years that he had been coaching. And come 2019, and like we end up getting the championship, and it was like, with his thing is like, oh well, you're my lucky charm, like because I've been here like 2 years, and you come in your first year, and we win a championship. So it was like winning an NBA, like whatever you feel like is the most emotional, like thing for you. That was it for me. I was like, wow, like I really did this in a Division III sport. This is gonna be in the records forever. So
That's true. That's
like
true.
that was like so, like to me, like one of the like the best moments in my life. Yeah.
What this is a question from Andre Titus Jr. Congratulations. What changes did you bring to the Bearcats?
Um, I think like I allowed the coach to focus on what he needed to focus on, and he trusted me to focus on a different aspect of the game. So like I really helped out a lot. Like I have a really good serve, so just preparing them to pass and stuff like off of my serve. Um, like I have a pretty strong hand, so down balls came a different speed. So like encouragement too, because me, like I started off as a setter. Um, Back home, I was in the junior national team for the
Nice.
Virgin Islands. Um, I had been a setter for Country Day. Actually, I was an outside hitter, and we got the championship in high school my senior year. Um, yeah, we beat up on Complex actually. I
That's
don't know
not
if
good.
that's your school,
That's my school. That's not good.
but
I don't
yeah,
like to hear that.
beat up on, not to say beat up on Complex, but we because they had a squad. They had a squad, and it was, I don't know how we won that game actually, like, but we did. And
We gotta find out who were the referees, the officials.
oh, no referees. That was like fair and square, and they knew it too. That's why they couldn't believe it, but and like I don't know. Um, yeah, so that's where I started in St. Croix. I played with Luzzie, Tiffany Paris, Bianca Stevens. She was a few years older, but
Yeah.
like her game, like seeing her play, like it inspired me to be even better. Like she, and back then, you competed, the girls against the guys competed, it didn't matter. It was the sport, that's how you got better, and
That's true.
yeah, but that's what I provided to the team. Um, the setter, the second, well, in volleyball you have 12 players, and usually you have like a team and a B team, which we don't like to use because the A team is like the starters, the B team is like the bench, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I took to the setter. His name is Stallone Shanker, and like he was a great setter, but confidence, that confidence was lacking.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I
it's
had to,
important.
remind him that listen, like you're good, so you just have to believe it.
It's
And
true.
actually, he was one of the key. Like we needed a setter in clutch moment, and he came in and he rocked out, and like it was really good. So I think just instilling confidence and being a assistant coach that can provide the same kind of challenge and coaching method that the head coach was doing. I followed the flow.
Yeah.
I came there to learn from him because he'd been there for years. He played on his national team, so I knew that he came with a lot of experience, and I just trusted the process pretty much. Yeah.
Definitely trust the process. That's important.
Yeah, Hunter College was so upset. They were so upset. Like, and we cut down their net. It was the first year that they let us cut down the net. So we was there with
Wow.
scissors, cutting down nets and stuff, and they were so pissed off. But that's just how the cookie crumble.
That's true. That's true. We got a couple questions here from the viewers. We have one from RT Kanai. Do they clock serves in volleyball? If yes, what is the average miles per hour serve? That's a good question.
They do clock serves. I think usually in the men's sport mostly. I can't tell you what's the average. I don't really know, but it's pretty tough, because it's really like bullets. You just really passing. And the funny thing is, like, to me, like a hard serve, hard driven serve that's topspin is a lot easier to pass than a floater,
No. Oh,
than
okay.
a float serve. Yeah, because the top spin, it has a trajectory and it's spinning, right? So it's coming high and it's coming down to you. So all you got to do is really be in the spot that it's gonna land or near. It don't matter how
Okay.
hard it is. The technique in that is you can't swing hard to a hard hit ball. You have to kind of cushion it and
Okay.
absorb the pace. Because
Yeah.
if you swing hard on a hard ball, it's gonna go to the roof.
That's
It's
true.
gonna skyrocket and go where you don't want it to go. So you kind of have to pull in and cushion the ball and absorb the speed that is coming, and then get it to target. So that's something that you have to teach the players, because they're thinking, oh, I'm gonna swing hard because it's coming hard. No, like it's the opposite. Yeah.
It's the opposite. We have a question here from Andre Titus Jr. How was it going to the NCAA championships? That experience.
I think like after winning that championship and beating Hunter, everything after that was just fun. Like, hey, like I don't care how y'all do, we're here, and just play your best. I don't care, and that's what the coach went in, because it's like, man, like you already did what you're supposed to do. Now, like, like let's just go as far as we can go. And so we played when we went to Massachusetts, we went to Peabody, Massachusetts, and we
Okay.
played SUNY New Paltz. And we had already played them in the season because they were in our conference or whatever, and we lost to them in the first round. Which was cool because they're a good team, and they have Caribbean coaches also. I think it's a Spanish Puerto Rican coach. And we lost to them, but it was a good game. Like the fans, showed mad love. There's like, okay, like, like y'all really played hard and whatever. And yeah, it was a good experience. It was all fun after, winning the championship. So it was good to, just keep on and see the other teams that were part of the championship.
Was it the first time that school ever made it to the NCAA championships?
No,
No.
I don't really know the history, but yeah, they had been before. It's just the first time Kevin Edwards had been to the championships.
Okay.
That was, yeah.
Yeah. That was good that he let you do your thing and gave you some responsibilities as a first time coach at that level. So that's pretty cool. I know that probably gave you confidence and made you feel more comfortable,
Yes.
as well too. How was the feeling receiving that ring?
Wow, well, the ring actually just came like last month, so it was like I had to wait a year and change, or almost 2 years. But it was good. I got it. The coach came to the spa. He gave me the ring, and I was like, it's like really super like pretty. I don't know.
That's
It has
amazing. That's dope. Yeah.
sapphires. My name is on it. There's the ball on it. The Bearcat. So no, man, I don't even know how to feel. Like I have this ring, like it's like wow. So right now it just feels good. Just every time I watch the game I cry. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just a crybaby, but yeah. Yeah,
No,
actually,
that's tears of joy.
yeah.
That's like a buildup of all the hard work, pre-season, the regular season, the up and downs. You yelling at your players. They're not listening. They're going through the motions. Tough losses, all that stuff that build up. And then to accomplish something, that's amazing. That's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, actually, like, I don't know, like one of the players, he had lost his mom like a month prior to the
Oh wow.
championship, and I swear it's like she was in the building, like in that fourth set that we were playing. We put this kid in. His name is Hanbin Lee, and he didn't even touch the ball. I don't remember him touching the ball, but him going into the game changed the whole energy of what was going on. And we won that first set. The fourth set went on to the fifth, and we just swept the fifth. Like, and it was like that she was there and she was just looking on, and she's like, hey, we're gonna get this. And so I'm a strong believer in God and and what he does. And I just think it was a lot of things that work in our favor that night.
This is a question from RT, and you could probably repeat it to some of the you could answer it for some of the viewers that maybe just tuning in as well too. What's the name of the school you coached at where you won your championship and the conference?
It's called Baruch College, Baruch. Baruch. It's a Division three championship.
And where's the location of that college?
It's in the city on 24th Street and Lexington in Manhattan. Also, a big challenge in the school too is that it's a specialized school. It's a business school. So, and they don't give scholarships. So it's like they have to round up people that get accepted, or if you're recruiting, you have to make sure that they're into business schools and stuff, which presents a challenge because then all of these other students that may want to do like healthcare and whatever, they have to choose another school, although they want to play for the coach or whatever, so it's that had been the challenge with the coach prior to him getting the championship. And it, like I said, just everything aligned, that year. And actually, we didn't even get to play Hunter in 2020, like in the regular season, to challenge them again.
Yeah.
Like, but we had a better standing than they did at the end, like before they cut off everything for COVID and whatnot.
Yeah, kind of touched on that. How the difficulties of the pandemic and COVID and how it affected the program. At Baruch School.
Well, yeah, it affected the program at Baruch. It affected the club team, because now the girls, they needed at the club, they needed videos and stuff to present to the schools that they want to go to, and there's no videos to give. With Baruch, we were in the midst of the men's season and doing really well, and it just couldn't continue, and that was like it affected the teams, although some of the players that year, they get an extra year, so they could have came back and played this year, but if you're not planning to do masters, that's your last year, and so we lost a lot of players. On the women's team, like all of the girls are gone. Wow. So he has to like revamp, get a whole new team. So I think that's gonna be the challenge moving forward, like his team is all new, like all new girls, all new guys,
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. How was the announcement made? Did the head coach brought you guys in together and kind of made the announcement, or was it kind of like individually?
Yeah, he brought us in and told us as a group. Actually, somebody from a team that we played, forgot the name of the school, but they had contracted COVID, and it was like in the vicinity, like. So they were, they took all precautions, and they're like, hey, we're going to have to stop this until further notice. And yeah, I know it affected a lot of kids mentally, as far as like gameplay and school and their progression and stuff. And it also affected the kids that are coming into, their junior, now they're seniors, and like a whole year of not playing. They can't even go to the gyms and stuff like that. So I have a lot of girls that were perspectives, like that could have made D1 schools and stuff. And now it's like, they have to settle for going to, like lower divisions or schools that are closer home.
Yeah, because I want to, Artie has a question, and I'll get to his question momentarily. Because I know some point in 2020, New York was hit hard with the coronavirus, if I'm not mistaken. Like it was a lot of cases. I want to say like, was it like the summer? I can't remember what time it was, but I know New York was it kind of hit it.
Yeah, it was hard. It was like the epicenter of it all in the beginning. Yeah, I was gonna just jump in my car and go to Orlando, and I was like, oh, I don't know how long this is gonna last. Like, what if I go to Orlando and then they call me back?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
then it just went on prolonged, and then my sister was like, you can't come, like you can't come, you just in the hot spot, like no.
Yeah, stay up in New York.
Yeah,
don't bring it down
she's
here.
like, you ain't getting me sick, stay up there, so yeah.
We have a question from Artie. Have you ever coached for the VI national team, or would you?
I have not coached with the VI national team, but I would love to. I'm in contact with Melissa Shang Simmons, and I speak to Miss Lucille Hobson, and they're in charge of the teams now, like the women's team. I don't know if like there's anything going on right now, but I would love to. That's like, now it's like my passion, like volleyball is like everything for me. Yeah, but I would love to come down, and I know Melissa just had her daughter got accepted to Benedict, Shalisa.
Awesome.
I saw that post on Facebook. So yeah, I would love to come down and see the talent and really like help out any way I can. You know, I'm the type of coach that I can see a player and kind of identify what's going on. Like by the first 5-10 minutes, I know, you know, what you need to improve on, you know, stuff like that. And I try to strive to be better at that too, because
Yeah,
coaching, being a coach, like you're much more than a coach, you know, like you become a friend, a mentor, you're a physical therapist, you know, you're a counselor, you're everything, because
that's
you
true.
know you have to go the extra mile, you know. And when you're in it, like you start developing all these things, like, you know, like I had, like my dad, he taught me that too. Like he's not just a coach, he's, you know, he massages his players, he wraps them up, he
Yeah,
tapes them up, you know. It's like that's like you have to be that as a coach, you know, to get like, you know, your players to get the best out of them, you know.
that's true. That's true. You being a coach, at the college level, did it? You kind of click in your mind when you was like, something happened during the game, and it kind of went back in your memory where your dad maybe used to say something or he used to do something, and you kind of wonder why he did it. But now you're a coach now, and then you kind of realize, okay, now I see why my dad was doing this, or why he said this, or why he did this, etc.
Yeah, I mean, mostly like conditioning, because I always thought it was like a punishment, you know. I like, oh, there's a big hill in Tipperary. That's where, you know, from Richmond we moved to Tipperary in the
Okay.
east, and there was this big hill like right up the street from us, and that was our training ground, you know. Like he was like, go up the hill. I was like, ah, the hill, you know. So he told you about a different hill over by Paragon over there, but
Yeah,
there was a hill by our house that it was steep. Like it was like literally vertical, if not just like this. Like you're going up and you
Jesus,
feel like you're gonna fall back kind of thing. It was so
that's
steep.
crazy.
But yeah, like that made me a better player. Like little did I know. I just thought I was just suffering through like physical, like, you know, hey, conditioning. But you know, looking back, like it really made me the player I was, you know.
Yeah,
And that's, I'm just gonna say that sometimes natural talent is not good enough, you know.
that's
Like you
true.
have to put in work, you have to do weight training, you have to do all these things to achieve the goals that you know you want for yourselves. A lot of times, you know, like there was a lot of athletes that they're naturally good and you know they worked hard and just didn't make it, you know.
That's true. Very
So
true.
like you have to dream big and train hard, and you know, like you have a greater chance of getting to your goals, you know, if you do this.
That's very true. That is very true. Did now, as you be coaching at the collegiate level, was it hard for you to adapt being a coach from being a player, or was it pretty much an easy transition?
It was fairly easy. The challenge is with the college is that they're all coming with different coaches, right? Prior to when they meet you. The challenge is
Mhm.
to get them to break out of a bad habit, you know? Like
Interesting. Yeah.
that's the hardest thing. And then there's like, oh, but I've been doing this forever. I was like, well, I'm telling you how you can be better, you know, and
Yeah.
like that's the challenge is the players resisting your advice, you know? Like you're telling them, hey, this you could be better if you do this, you know, or and them telling you, hey, well, I've been doing this for my whole life, and then comes the end of the year and they're at second or third in the rankings and wondering why they're not first. I told you why, you know? Like you should have listened to me in the beginning of the season and you would have been number one. But you know, sometimes you just have to let things play out. Like I don't know. Like I told you what you should do. You're not listening, and now you're wondering why you're number two instead of number one. You know? So that was the challenge with coaching college kids. And it's why I prefer to coach younger girls or, younger kids in general, because I'm instilling a good foundation. And that's super important. I mean, in any sport, but in volleyball, like it's super, super crucial for them to have like a good foundation. You don't know how important that is, start with a good foundation, and then they have a better chance of going, further along in the sport.
Yeah, that's very true. Because sometimes kids will have not so good coaches, and then develop this type of habit, and it'd be so challenging for you to break that player's habit. Because
Yeah.
they have been taught the wrong way the whole entire time. So I could definitely see how challenging that could be.
So that's the difference between the college coaching and the club coaching with Miss Cranston. So I coach with the Blazers juniors volleyball club in Yonkers, and
Okay.
we have, like, I was in charge of the 12-year-old girls, and like they have so much personality. I love them. They're like no, none of them was really like 12. They were all like 10, 11, but because we trained them well or whatever, they were competing against girls that were 12, like about to turn 13 or whatever. And at that age, having a good serve, like if all your girls could serve, you're gonna win a lot of the games. Because at that age, a lot of the girls can't get it over the net and stuff like that. So that was the advantage, we have as a team. And actually, like, the challenge with coaching club is that we'll have a set of girls and we're training them, giving them good foundation, and then another club is gonna come and poach them, right?
Yeah.
So we had a lot of difficulty with girls going to other clubs, and these other clubs particularly looking at the girls that are in our club and offering them scholarships and stuff to come to their club. And then the thing is, they would talk shit, garbage about our club, but they're sending their girls to our summer camps. They would send their girls to our summer camps to learn and train with us, and then go back to their club to try to compete against our girls. And it didn't, and they don't understand, like, one girl is not gonna affect a group of 6 that much,
Yeah.
Like, she'll get better, but if the other 5 around her are not to her level, they're not gonna excel,
That's true.
And that's the benefit we have as a team and keeping our girls together, is that all of our girls are excelling at the same pace, And so as a team, like, they're elevating their potential because they play together, and they're learning each other. They're trusting, hey, I can let you play that ball because you're going to put it to where I need you to put it,
That's
So
true.
yeah, that's the challenges with the club, coaching the club, because these kids, and also the parents, I know Janae had mentioned this, coaching the club, the parents could be so like, why you don't put my kid in? But at our club, we tell them from the beginning, listen, you're the parent, I'm the coach, it's my team. I'm gonna put them in, and as they as they progress, I'll put them in and take them out. Because if you put a girl in the game and she's not ready, she may start fearing the ball. She be like scared of the ball instead of, challenging herself to get better. So you also have to go according to the player, learn the player, prepare them for what's to come, and also understand how ready they are for that situation,
We have a question here from Andre Titus Jr. Do you believe that the international and Caribbean athletes comes with more advanced skills than the local athletes?
I think they do. I think they do. Players from Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic, they're coming with like hey, the Virgin Islands too. You know, you hear players from there, and you just know they have to be good. They have to be elite. You know, um, the actually Andre Titus, he have a player, David, is it Heiliger? He's from St. Thomas, and he was athlete. You know, he made first team in the same Division 3 sport. He plays for York, and he like I'm so proud of him because you know I was able to show the guys that I was coaching like, oh, he's from St. Croix, oh, he's from St. Thomas, you know, and it's like, oh, for real. And he has he can hit, he can pass, you know. It was awesome to see him play and you know make all the teams and the athlete of the year that he has. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing him and seeing how far he gets when volleyball starts up again. So it's really good. The thing with the Caribbean, especially like Dominican Republic, they have schools. They have numerous volleyball schools, and so they have like waves. So the girls that are on the national team, when they age out, they have a whole slew of girls that are able to just fill in those spots, you know, because they're coming up the ranks. And I think, you know, that's something that needs to be implemented on St. Croix or St. Thomas, you know, where we have a school specifically for volleyball that we can train these, you know, kids coming up and really prepare them, you know, for the junior national team, for the national teams, and to go on to college and represent the island. I think that's like super important that I don't think, you know, we have right now.
Yeah, something like was it like an academy or something?
Yeah.
That would yeah.
I spoke to my dad about throwing up a volleyball court in the backyard, and he was like, I'm still working on that. But
you have better chance for a baseball field.
A baseball field can't fit in my yard.
I know. Yeah.
But you know, hopefully he'll see it my way. Because you know, Tipperary has a lot of like, you know, like I said, that hill used to train me conditioning, and our house in St. Croix, like it's a Mikasa house. It was the little wood house, you know. Yeah. And the roof was slanted. So in the occasions that, you know, Kanti didn't want to come play with me or whatever, I would use the roof, you know, throw the ball on the roof, leg come down, play it 3 times, pass, set, and I'll hit it. And, you know, the thing with the roof is if you hit it straight, it's going to come back straight. But if you hit it in an angle, it's going to roll down in an angle. So I have to shuffle over and play the ball. I have to know what angle I hit it and expect, you know, be where the ball is going to come down and stuff. And that's volleyball. It's a lot of physics, a lot of like geometry, a lot of, you know, speed and angles. And, you know, it's a lot of that. So, you know, volleyball players have a really high IQ. I mean, not to, you know, brag, but yeah, it's a volleyball. You have to do a lot of thinking, you know. Athleticism and skills will get you so far if you're not smart, you know. You're not going to really excel in the sport or go as far as you'd like to go.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say, you know, volleyball players is very intelligent. So,
yeah,
you know, same as, you know, baseball pitchers, same thing, you know, they have to do a lot mentally and stuff.
Definitely.
They usually be really intelligent as well. You mentioned about, you know, what would be good for the Virgin Islands to have like a, you know, like something like an academy where girls could train and it's just year round and you just have players just going through the ranks at different ages, which is good. Is there any other any other ideas you have as far as being involved with, you know, coaching volleyball that you saw in the States that you think the Virgin Islands could implement as well besides academy?
I don't know. I mean, in volleyball, it's like the more contact you have with the ball, the better you get. So it's just getting them on the court and just having them actually do the things. It's important to like train on your vertical because you could be a shorter girl, and in club sports and not in college because they prefer to have taller girls, in college or
Yeah.
whatever. But working on your vertical, that's like super important. Um, I don't know, like, but the academy for sure, and having just like great coaches, like just improve these kids and how they play. I think that's the most important.
You also mentioned about the club volleyball and how they try to get your players them and offer them scholarships and stuff like that. You know, it's kind of, it seems like up here in the states, it's kind of like a business, because you see that a lot with a
Yeah,
lot of the different sports. With basketball too. Basketball is big with that, as far as other programs and clubs trying to steal your players and recruit your players. Them and promise them more, or maybe they won't have to pay, or they could pay half, etc. and stuff like that. How frustrated is that as a coach?
it's super frustrating. It's super frustrating. Luckily we have kids and parents that are loyal,
Mm,
and they see that like that their kids are progressing at a fast pace. And it really, the parents, we have to like talk to them, and they I think they pretty much see it. And because as a coach, like I said, you have to be more than a coach. Sometimes they leave their kids all day with us, like, so
that's
we're
true. Yeah,
babysitters. If they have a nosebleed, we have to know how to plug it up and help, help it slow, improve the nosebleed. If they get hurt, we have to tape them up. If they forget their uniform, we have to have extra uniforms. And it's super it's multifaceted in that way. But yeah, that the parents, we have some really great parents that are dedicated to their kids and their improvement and stuff. So that has helped us out a lot with them not going and following the that kind of chord and going to a different club.
what's 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 some advice you could give some high school volleyball athletes that's trying to get into college? What advice you would give them that could help them their freshman year going into volleyball?
um I'd say to learn as much skills as you can. Like, don't just satisfy yourself with just being a good attacker. Like, you have to, like I said, I started off setting, and when I got hurt I was playing outside. So I was, I played an outside hitter in high school. um I was a setter in the national team, on the junior national team. So I was able to still play on the team because I could hit also. So you
Yeah,
have to adapt, try to sharpen all your skills, not just be if you're a setter, like just focus on setting. No, like try your hand at everything. um like, practice is the time to work on these things. Like, some practices may be ugly, you may,
yeah.
but those are the practices that prepare you for gameplay or whatever different situations. um I guess, just figuring out what makes you play best, like,
It's important.
identify your flaws also, and and work on those things that you need to improve. Go to coaches like, hey, how can I do this better? And you know I thank you for being part of this podcast. And for the kids, like, I want them to use it as a resource. Like, hey, like, we're here
Thank you.
telling our story, but we can help your story be better. Just reach out to us. Like, I'll speak for myself. You can reach out to me. You can send me a video. I'll just watch it and tell you. Like I said, I
Oh,
can look at
awesome.
a person and I can tell you, hey, you may need to work on your vertical. You may need to work on your approach. Sometimes, like, we have a girl, like, she has a really good arm, but her approach is kind of funny. She's goofy footed, and it's like, you have to work on your approach. You have to do your approach so many times that naturally, like, you can do it without thinking, the approach is what helps you elevate, so it's left, right, left, and then you jump and you swing. So if you don't have a good footing for attacking, you're not gonna excel in that. With setting, you have to learn how to jump set. A good, like, ammunition to have is a dump. You go up, you jump, and you swish the ball over with your left hand. If you're tall enough as a setter, you can go up, and if you're in the front row, you could go up and attack yourself. So you don't actually have to give the ball to your attacker. You can jump up and attack on your own. So these are skills that, as a setter, not all setters have, but if you do adapt those certain, things, like, you can elevate your game so much that they're gonna need you on that court. At one point they're gonna need you, so equip yourself with everything, all the ammunition that you can, because ultimately sports is like a fight, like, it's 6 girls against 6 other girls, and we're just really, like, playing the sport, and it's who wants it the most and who fights the best is gonna win at the end of the game. So you have to teach them how to fight, like, maybe even literally, I've even thought about putting my girls to spar, like, put in, like, boxing gloves and just going at it so they can show me what you can do. Show me what happens when you get mad, like, tell me. And that's how you kind of, like, rev them up, and, like, it's still kind of courage and a fight, because you don't want your girls to stick their tails under their, between their legs and just, cow, and choke in big situations. That's a good thing. Coach Kevin Edwards, he sets up games against better schools, right? So, we played St. Francis Prep, like, they became a Division I school last year, and we played them. I mean, there's a big chance we can lose, right? But I want to see how you're gonna play against this type of competition. So he'll set up these games to prepare to see how much fight these guys have, like, you're probably gonna lose, but let me see how hard you're gonna fight,
Yeah.
And so we always play NYU, the girls and guys, and
okay, nice.
Almost always we lose, but at least you see how they're gonna do, and they're, those games are preparing your team for when championship comes, because that team that we're playing against probably didn't play NYU. They probably didn't play St. Francis Prep, So it's like you're preparing your team for battle, by having them play these better teams.
Yeah, that's true. Also too, it builds the players' confidence, because when you play a big school, and if you have a good game, you look at yourself in the mirror and be like, man, you know what, I could actually play at that level,
Yep.
And
I can compete against in a Division I school, and oftentimes, like, kids end up in D2 schools because maybe money and scholarship. You never know what situation brought them to a D2 school, D3 school. But the reality is, D2 or D3 doesn't depict how good the player is, like, it just happens that they just at that school. So you may have a kid at a D3 school that's at a D1 level, but they just happen to be on your team. So
that's true. We have a question here from Andrew Titus Jr. Do your club team offer scholarships to students that are not financially eligible?
Yes. Being that she owns the club, Coach Cranston, she can, provide discounts, and also I think registering your team as like a nonprofit, whatever, you can get help from the state or whatnot. So we're working on things like that, because we do have kids, and like, I think, you know, me and her share the same passion, and like we want to help these girls, and we understand that sometimes their family doesn't have the money, but they have the skill, you know? They're athletes, they're like super athletes, they have the skill, they're willing to learn, but oftentimes the money prevents that from happening. So we do provide assistance. Um,
That's nice.
a lot of times at her cost, you know. She's an accountant by trade, and she owns this club, and she's doing such a good job, but you know, sometimes, you know, it's not, sometimes it's not super profitable, but she loves to do it, you know. Um yeah, and so yeah, we have that that leeway to give scholarships and assistance to kids. Yes.
That's awesome. It's so important when the person who owns the club is so passionate, and sometimes they even sacrifice their some of their financial and put it into the club to give the athletes and the players them an opportunity. So that says a lot. It says a lot about the club and what it stands for. You know,
Yes.
I want to say this is Violet. Violet said, "Mumba, say hi for me because Christy trained me too at awkward." So I'm guessing that's Violet.
uh
I can't see because it says Facebook user, so we can't see the name. And
uh,
you touched on it earlier, but Artie wants to know: did you play any other sports besides volleyball?
well, I played baseball because I had to. Um, and I was a catcher, I was a pitcher, I played first base, I played outfield. I didn't like none of them. I uh I mean, as funny as that is, you know, like, you know, he my dad was really good. I saw the good that he, you know, provided to
Yeah,
the community. Um, those days it was super fun just being at the baseball like field, you know. So I like that part, you know, just being, you know, into like the whole cheering and kids playing, and you know, Mary jumping up playing in the background, you know, like, so I don't know, it was really good. I didn't like the sun. It was just a lot, but I was pretty good at baseball, you know.
yeah. The sun, man. When I was in Little League, the sun was cool for me, but then as I got older, man, the sun wasn't cool to me anymore. So
No. One time I was warming up, the ball got lost in the sun, and stupid me, I didn't put up the glove to block my face. I'm looking for the ball, and it drops and hits my nose, and my nose starts to bleed, and that was the end of that day. But
yeah, that's not good.
yeah,
That's not good.
baseball is it's like a love and hate thing with baseball, you know.
Yeah. Did you growing up? Did you imagine that you would have been a coach? Pretty much following in your father footsteps in a way, coaching and being a mentor and taking care of kids and being like a parent and a role model, a counselor. All those different hats that you have to wear.
No, I was just really focusing. I had dreams of, you know, possibly playing in the Olympics, and,
Mm,
you know, going to a D1 school and stuff. And, you know, my injury kind of, you know, put a halt on that. Um, the reality was I could have recovered from the knee surgery and continued playing, but, you know, like that's not the route, you know, my life took, you know, at that point. I think, you know, everything happens in its time.
it's true.
Um, yeah, I do want to continue going to school, and so because I got hurt as a freshman, I still have eligibility to play. So
That's true.
here I go, you know, with my crazy hoop dreams. You know, I got accepted to Mercy. If they have a team in the fall, I may try out for the team and hopefully, you know, live out my college, you know, dream or whatever. But I do wanna help out in the national team for back home. You know, whether I'm on the team or coaching, you know, whatever, you know, route I take. in that way. I did reach out to the Puerto Rican national team, and because they lost like 5 or 6 players, so they're revamping and stuff. And I sent them videos, and they said they would get back to me because they weren't going to Tokyo this year. So they said they would reach out to me like once they have tryouts or whatever. So I just try to open up different avenues for myself, and wherever door opens, I guess I can go in and see what's going on behind that door.
Yeah,
I
that's true.
watch a lot of the professional volleyball league. It's called the Superliga in Brazil.
Okay.
So I watch a lot of those games, and I aspire to maybe one day try out for a team over there, and play a year or two professionally. But I have to take one step at a time to get to there. So those are goals that I set for myself right now.
Do you prefer to play beach volleyball or hard surface volleyball?
I prefer court.
Court.
I prefer the court because the sand slows you down. You have to worry about the wind and beach volleyball. I would play it for fun, and maybe if I had the chance to compete, maybe so too. I think I played a couple of times with Elisa Sanchez and Luzzy, a couple of times in St. Croix when we were growing up. We just threw together a team and played, but I prefer court. It's more constant, The floor is flat, there's no wind blowing your ball wherever you want it to go.
You have to worry about the sun or anything like that.
I have to worry about the sun. Yeah, so
true.
definitely court.
So how now, once everything get back to normal, how are you gonna incorporate what you with your business and coaching volleyball, or maybe even trying to get back and play?
Well, so I really don't know. I mean, going to school, I would have to, work around my school schedule and still have, or try to, train someone to work at the spa on days that I can't come in. So, that comes with, building clientele and business booming. I have a couple of girls that I went to school with that I'm still in contact with that I can reach out and be like, hey, you want to come work, these few days at the spa? And, they're willing to come and help me out. So in that aspect, going back to school and having somebody work the shop, I can, have ways of managing that. Coaching, I wouldn't be able to coach the women's season, but I guess I can coach with the for the men's season. I can come back and coach because I'll be off. I wouldn't be playing.
Okay.
So that's the plan right now.
Do you have any plans to expand your business?
Definitely. So once the clientele builds up, I just, get a bigger space, get another machine, get another spa bed, and just go like that. I was interested in opening up a spa in Orlando, in Apopka. I was speaking to my sister and possibly expanding there too.
Oh, nice. Man, I just had a question. It was, man, what I just forgot. Man, this is crazy. I hate when this happened. Where do you see your where do you see your business in the next 5 to 10 years?
I mean, it's going so well right now that I'm like, I don't know, sky's the limit. I mean, I really like, I'm a new business owner, so that far ahead. Like it's like I just just want to continue the flow and move in a positive way, and I guess making a brand, making it a brand and expanding and just like I don't know. Well, actually, business has been in our family for a long time because my mom, she comes from the Camacho family, and
Okay.
like my granddad Leocadio Camacho, he was one of the first business owners on St. Croix. Yeah, so it's been in my blood, I guess, and I just want to do something um that involves that. My sister has a master's in business as well, so
Okay.
she's yeah, she's doing her thing in a papka. Um, but yeah, just get as big as I can and help as much people. I want to give back to the club and to my community too.
Nice.
Like I would like to provide a gym that Miss Marie Cranston can train the girls, something that's hers. I think having like a serving machine, I think that was like a big part of, like Baruch's success is having a serving machine. Like it's super
Okay.
important. It's like in baseball, like a pitching machine,
Pitch machine.
and
Yeah.
you could turn up the speed or whatever. And that prepares them to, receive harder hit balls without me or the coach having to strain and like,
Yeah.
you know.
That's true. Yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
true. Yeah, that's awesome. I never even thought about that they had like a serving machine in volleyball. I never knew
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's
Yeah, and the same serving machine, you could adjust it on the net, and it could be an attacking machine too. The
oh
spike.
wow.
So yeah, but those machines go like upwards of 8,000, 8 to 10,000 one machine. So, but that was like super crucial to us becoming better, like a better passing team at Baruch. And that's something I would like to implement and provide to the club here and also in St. Croix too. It would be
Yeah.
good to have
That'd be
that,
yeah, that'd be
the girls,
Do you have a that's the question I was gonna ask you. Do you have a IG page or a Facebook page for your business?
I do. It's called Fair Skin Spa NYC.
Fair Skin Spa NYC?
Yeah.
Facebook
FK.
and Facebook and Instagram?
I just have an Instagram right now.
Oh, okay, Instagram.
Um for the spa in NYC, but the spa in Atlanta has a Facebook and a IG. Um
Oh, okay.
that my business partner, he runs that in Atlanta.
Nice, nice. So we're kind of winding down. So I got some quick hitters for you. First one is, what's 5 words that describe you as a person?
Um I'm gonna say like I'm resilient. Um I'm pretty resourceful. Like when I want something, like I'll figure out how to get it or who I have to ask to get it. Um I'm pretty humble at what I do. Um like being on this podcast, I'm like super thankful. Although I was really nervous, like almost anxiety attack nervous. Um, but uh, what else? I'm optimistic. I'm super optimistic. I'm the person that makes the best out of every situation.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm pretty family oriented and like I believe in God, God first. I'm always wearing a rosary. Um,
Okay.
yeah. And you said like before, like what like I would tell the youth is like just be a good learner. Like oftentimes
Okay.
like that's the challenge is like the kid does not think they know it all, and don't want to listen to the coach because okay, I'm good. So just be a good learner. And I figure out, what makes you play best, you know, and just keep doing that every day, you know. Um, Also doing something about your mistakes, identifying your flaws and changing those things, right? Evolving as a player, like you
Very
can't just
important.
stay stagnant as a
It's
player. You
true.
always have to want more, you know, want to be better, you know, want to learn more skills, you know, and not let one bad day turn into two. You have to change it, you know. Like, yeah, it's okay to have a bad day, and it's okay to for the practices to look ugly, but day two needs to look a little better because you got the kinks out, you know. If it's the attitude, you need to check yourself, leave it at the door, you know. Um,
It's important.
and just being confident and not cocky. You know, a lot of times, like, especially, you know, with the guys' teams, like they come in as like, oh, you know, like I can play and I don't care what you say, you know, and like the one coach one time was like talking to this one kid and he's like, what did he say? He was like, chill out or relax or something, like yelling to the coach. He was like, what? He's like, you relax, you know, like I'm telling you what to do, you know, like I'm
Yeah.
the coach. So just, you know, just not be cocky about it, be confident and preparing for success. So oftentimes if the coach calls practice at 7, be there at 6, you know, be there at 6:30 because 7 o'clock means that he wants to start practice at 7, not that you get there at 7, you gotta dress, you gotta put on your sneakers, you gotta warm up, you gotta tape up. All these things you should do an hour ahead of practice so you can be prepared at 7 o'clock. That's super important, you know.
Very important.
Um,
Yeah.
Also, like if you haven't, you know, like you have an opponent and they have videos of how they played, like it's important to go back to tape and watch those games and see their lineup, see who they're playing regularly in on their six, see who you gonna be match up with when the game time comes, and identify their flaws. As a player, you have to know, you know, what's going on the opponent's side, because that's what's gonna ultimately help you get to your goal of the W. You know, it's knowing who's in front of you, what you have to do to prepare, you know, for attack, you know. So like watching tape is super, super, super important. Also, like my dad, you know, he would sit us down in front of the TV and say, watch this, you know, and it's usually baseball, you know, it was never
Yeah.
volleyball. So, you know, watch like at a higher level. If you're in college, watch the professionals play. If you're in
Yeah.
high school, watch the college sports. A lot of times that's what we tell our girls, and they're like, I don't want to watch a college volleyball game. But encouraging them to do this, watch hey, did you watch a game like I told you last week? Some of them will say no, but the ones that say yes, you're like, okay, I see that you're listening, you know,
Yeah.
and understanding the player too. Like one player can respond to a lot of yelling, 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 yelling and do well. Another player may not respond the same way, you know, so you have to know, you know, and a lot of times coaches, like, is what players don't understand. They're super hard on the players that they feel have more potential, you know, and a lot of times as a kid, like all you see is that the coach is yelling, but you don't understand that she's yelling to get you to your potential, you know.
Yeah.
But
It's
as a
true.
coach, you have to know who you're talking to as a player, because she or he may shut down by you yelling and stuff, where you could just pull them to the side. Hey, I need you to do this. I'm not gonna yell because I know you don't receive well to that, but you gotta listen, you know, and learning the player in that way. I had coaches, you know, one coach was like super yelly and the other one was more sensitive. And I had got used to the yelling, that sometimes when I was playing with the one that was more sensitive, I needed that yelling, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like, man, like, what am I doing wrong? But then this coach would have told me, you know, yell to me what I was doing wrong, you
Yeah.
know? So it's like, I don't know. That was like, I understood that as a player, that sometimes I need, you know, that yell to snap me out of
Yeah.
whatever
Give you that
I'm under.
motivation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Give you that
yeah,
extra boost. Yeah. You just dropped some gems. You just said some very, very important stuff that that would definitely help a lot of athletes, especially kids coming up, in high
Yeah,
school.
and
And
just loving what you do. You have to be passionate about it. It's like
very true, very
if
true.
you don't have that passion, you're gonna give 80%. And that's where, like, on the flip side, baseball I was not passionate about. So I didn't excel, although I had natural talent. Volleyball was where I excelled at. I love to do it. That's why I'm still coaching now. And as a player, just focusing on the team and not yourself, you know, that goes back to, like, because it's a team sport. So
Yeah,
you have to ideally trust these other players, 5 players, you know, to help you excel. And as a team, it's not one person can do it.
that's true. That's very true. We have a question here from one Facebook viewer. Are you planning to come home to have workshops?
Well, I was planning to come in August sometime. August. I know my family, the Encarnacion family, they may be having like a reunion June and July. Still tentative, trying to hear, if it's still going on, but I definitely want to come in August, and I would love to, sit down and talk to the players and
Very
see,
nice.
what I can do to improve on their game. If I can train with them, that'd be cool too.
That'd be awesome. That'd be good. Question from RT. How was rehab for your knee? How did that go?
Well, when it first, well, I had 2 knee surgeries, so just to, like,
It's
just
tough.
to clarify, on the right knee, I was younger, so I really don't remember. Like, I pretty much went to physical therapy very little, and I feel like I recovered well. This surgery that I had last year, whatever, um, I am like 7 months out of surgery, 8 months, and like it's good. It's good. Mentally, I'm still a little cautious on how I push it or whatever. And I work out with Juju a lot. So she also coached at Pace University.
Okay,
Um,
yes.
so she's been training me and telling me, hey, you're doing too much. And it's been pretty good. I've been on the treadmill, on the elliptical and stuff. It's I'm working on the step and extension. It's not like where it should be, but it's I'm able to, like, play volleyball with my she actually, I coached her. She was part of Juju's club. Her name is Ileana, and so we go to LA Fitness and we play, we play volleyball a bit. So I've been doing like a lot of motions, a lot of strengthening work, and just like testing the knee out a bit,
And that's
But
and that surgery, was that like a meniscus or
it was ACL on my
that
left.
one was ACL?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
So
What
okay.
happened is when I had the first surgery on the right knee, I started playing back too soon, and I wasn't strengthening the left knee, you know.
Oh, so you
So
overcompensate on the
yeah,
right
I
knee.
overcompensated and I jumped and I landed just on one foot, on my left foot, and it twisted out. It wasn't as bad as the right foot though, like
Okay.
the injury, but it still slipped out and stuff. But now my right knee is like my strong knee. So
Yeah.
I don't know. So I just expect like physical therapy to go well and my left knee to get as strong as my right knee. And I wake up, I warm it up. I do squats on the trampoline, and I do like one-legged squats. Like, so to improve your vertical, you have to train your body like one body part at a time. So if you can,
Yeah.
do one-legged squats on each leg, that's really going to help you prepare, because a lot of times you're jumping, you may take off on 2 feet, but you may land just on one. So that's like your whole body weight on one
Mm,
foot. So you have to train it to be able to do that, and prevent injuries and stuff. Another thing, to the young kids, warm up. You have to warm up. A lot of kids just want to jump on the court, and start playing. You have to run, warm up your knees, warm up your joints, stretch. You have to stretch. This is super important, and things that, kids may overlook, hey, I don't need to warm up. Like, I'm good, but that it prevents injuries, and it builds stronger, joints and players, all together.
Facts.
And back to like identifying your player, I'd read this, the former coach Mike Herbert, he identified 4 type of players, right?
Okay.
So there's the stud. So the stud is a player that can take over a match and always wants the ball in critical moments. So that's a stud. Like, so the stud is the best girl on the team. She's gonna give you a kill. She's on point. In clutch time, you can give her the ball and she's gonna execute. Right?
She wants it. Yeah.
She wants it. Give it to me. I don't care if I mess up. Give it to me. Like, I'm gonna give you that what you need. Right? So that's the stud. The winner is a courageous player. They take risks. They never contemplate the possibility of losing. That's the winner, right? And then there's a stabilizer, which is a player that doesn't have the skills to be a stud and isn't psychologically equipped to be a winner, but is a low error player who is seldom the primary reason your team wins, but never the reason it loses. So this is one that is in the medium that keeps the ball playing or whatever.
Never too high, never too low.
Exactly.
Yeah, interesting, yeah.
And then there's the leader, right? So there's the leader. This player does the right thing, models championship behavior, knows how to approach each teammate, is in command of emotions at all times, and accepts the role of holding the team together. So that's the leader. So it's like he identified 4 different type of players. And like I said, you have to know your players. You have to know who you're going to tell your setter to set at crunch time. You have to know who you're going to have receiving the serve, because this girl can receive. She's going to get me the result I need, right? Yeah. So that's just learning the players and being a better coach in that sense,
That's interesting. So if you have those 4 types of players on a team, you could always, most likely you probably be successful, once each player understands each player, their strengths and the weaknesses.
Yeah, and it's into that your players can put up a hittable ball. So I don't care, so usually on the volleyball court, the outside hitters, you cannot be an outside hitter if you don't know how to pass. That's super important. If you can't pass the ball, you can't play outside. If you can hit and can't pass, your position is probably middle blocker. But if you're not tall enough, then that's not your spot either. So, like I said, going back to identifying your flaws and knowing who you are as a player and setting yourself up for success, Like a girl that's 5'2" is not going to make a college outside hitter position. She's not. So if I take a 5'2" girl, I'm train her to be a defensive specialist, a libero, because she has a better chance being a defensive specialist because they're always in the back row. She's not going to have to be in the front where these college players are 6 feet and above, 6'7", 6'8", these players in college,
playing above the net.
So I don't care how high your vertical is, they're not going to put you in the front row. They're not.
Yeah, that's important, Starting early, training what type of player you're going to become. Like you said with the 5'2", if you're 6'5", then you're going to be an outside hitter. You're going to be blocking, playing above the net, start early, doing all those things. That's
so that also is a benefit that we have as a club is we train every player in every skill.
Yeah.
Because, getting them at that early age, you can't just put them into a position, you have to train them in every skill. And then one player may show a more aptitude to a position. So then you're starting to learn the player. It's like, okay, she would be a good setter. She has good hands. You know, she's smart. You know, she may not jump all that well and she doesn't attack. So maybe I'll train her to be a setter. So I'll try to train her a little bit more in that way, you know?
Yeah.
But we train our kids no matter at that young age, no matter how tall you are, short you are, you're gonna learn how to attack. You're gonna learn to pass. You may not be an effective blocker because you're not jumping to the net over the net, but we're gonna show you how. We're gonna show you how to block. We're gonna show you the techniques. And blocking is like different skills. If you block straight up like that, you're gonna get tooled all the time because the hitter's gonna see your flat block and it's gonna hit it to the side or whatever and tool your block. So as a blocker, you have to push. You have to jump up and push. If you don't push, they're gonna keep using you all the time. As a blocker, that's just something that, you know, you need to know. Oftentimes, a lot of the kids are coming and just jumping, putting up their hands without pushing. You know, we're like, push, you have to push through the net. And they're like, you know, another thing, kids holding their hands, that's super important. Some coaches teach this, right? To just put your hands together like that. The problem I find with that is if a ball is coming hard and you're holding it like this, it's gonna come apart. You have to put a lot of pressure here and you're, you know, to pass. I prefer like interlocking. So it'll be like, I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, I can
but
see,
you
yeah.
interlock and that holds the platform because here, your platform is from here to here.
Okay, elbow to wrist.
So you have to pass the ball here. If you pass the ball on your knuckles, you have no control because it's going to hit a bone and go somewhere else.
Yeah, go all over the place.
If it's up too high, it's going to choke you up. So you have to know where, you know, where you need the ball to hit. And this has to be flat, elbows locked. If the elbow is bent, it's not going to create the platform you need. Another thing that kids are not like coming with whatever is your hand placement. So for a top spin, you have to have your hand cupped in the shape of a ball, right? It has to be strong and it has to be cupped. So this will give you that top spin action, right? For a floater, you have to hold your fingers back and this area is contacting the ball. So as opposed to giving some spin for the top spin, the floater, you hit it and you stop. And then the ball goes like this. That's why I say a top spin is a lot easier to receive than a floater, right?
Nice.
How I used to serve, like, you have to learn the ball too. The ball has 18 stripes, right? The ball also has a pin in the bottom. So how I used to serve, I would make sure this is facing me and the pin is on the bottom, right? So if I want to serve a float, ball, I'm going to hit it here and let it float and let the pin, because that's the heaviest part of the ball, it'll take its weight. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So that's just something that you're not thinking of as a young player, but you have to learn the ball. You have to learn the ball. You have to learn the dimensions of the court because you have to learn to serve from the whole back line. Don't get stuck on serving on the right side only. You have to learn to move it around. You have to learn how to serve to targets. You have to be such a good server that I can tell you serve to position 1 and you're going to get the ball to position 1. So these are the things as a server, as a young player, you have to train yourself. And you can do it. You can perfect your serve so much that I could tell you serve 1 and sometimes you could close your eyes, throw it and hit it because you've done it so many times. And I know for basketball it's the same way with free throws or whatever.
Yeah, muscle
You've
memory.
done it so many times that you can just deform. You have to learn the contact. You have to know how tall you are. You have to know where your contact is. You know, and then in every level of play. Like if a girl is coming from club ball to a college level play, there's taller blockers, whatever. You can't hit the ball here and think you're gonna get through the block. You have to extend your hand and snap from up here. You can't bring your hand down because this is into the block. Up here and you snapping is over the block, around the block, you know? So I mean, these are just little like things that kids are not really like thinking of. I don't know if their coaches are telling them of it or whatever.
Yeah.
But these are like things that are super important with the volleyball and the sport. Yeah, I mean, I could go on with techniques all night, you know, but those are just like, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I mean, just little things that, you know, you're not thinking, you know, as a player. You have to know, you have to have a top spin serve. You have to have a floater. These are things that you expand with your game. I wasn't a jump server in my younger days. I learned that, you know, in college, how to jump serve. But if you're killing it, standing up and you're serving, your next motion is to learn how to jump serve, you know, gain a floater, gain a top spin. So you could have different, you know, artillery, you know?
That's true. We have a question here from, we have a couple questions. We have a question here from RT. What about weightlifting? What type of workouts? Weight workouts for volleyball players?
A lot of leg work, squats, weight training. That's something I really did not do like when I was younger that I wish I did. I did a lot of conditioning, but hitting the gym and stuff, no. And that's the only way you're gonna get a better vertical, hit the ball harder, you know, it's by weight training. And don't be scared of like, I mean, a lot of girls don't work out because it's like, oh, I'm gonna get big, or I'm gonna know. If you love the sport and you're passionate, you know, like train yourself, you know. Either start with low weights and just build your resistance and just cut up and not push it, you know. There's different ways of training, but definitely weight training is super important. You know, going back to what I said, natural talent is sometimes not good enough. Like you have to do weight training, you have to do conditioning, a lot of mental, you know, challenge your players mentally when they're in scrimmages or whatever. Set up a team with like 22 points and the other team with 18 and see how they're gonna do, you know, like put them in game situations because you don't want them to be in game situation the first time them doing it, you know. So you have to prepare them in that way mentally. Hey, what are you gonna do? Who are you gonna set to get your kill? You know, a lot of times setters are the captains of the team because the setters, you know, is like the nucleus of the team. Everything is rotating. The setter's like the point guard, I guess, in basketball.
That's true.
You know, they're making the decisions. You know, they're seeing who I'm gonna set to get my point. You know, and it makes them look good. A lot of times the hitters, when they make mistakes, they're yelling at the setter. But the fact of the matter is, you knew that the set was off from the time it left my hands, but you want to jump up and blaze it in the net. So whose fault is that? Mine or yours? You know. So don't blame the setter. Blame yourself for not adjusting to the ball. You know.
That's true.
And I used to take a lot of the heat, you know, and I would take it. I'm listening. All right, cool. I'll give you a better set. But if you don't get a kill, then don't blame me, you know, like. So.
We have a question here from Andrew Titus Jr. Do you feel great players make good coaches?
I think
question.
It's not always relative. It's not always, you know, like a parallel thing. Sometimes really good players make bad coaches. So that's not necessarily true, but it's an advantage, you know, being that you're a good player. And, you know, if you're willing to learn, as like I said, as a player, you have to be willing to learn. As a coach, you need to be willing to learn also.
Very important.
So,
very important. That's very important. I think great players make good coaches. That's a good question. all I would say, the only thing I would add on to that, from my perspective, I would say great have you have a great player, but it depends on your relationship with that player. Meaning that being it, how's your relationship when you sit down and talk to that player, you get to tap into that player's mind where they might see something from a different perspective that makes them great that you never saw it from their perspective, and that makes you a great coach. Which you
Yeah,
learn something. That's the only thing I could see it from. But
yeah, definitely.
that's a good question.
Like, and there was this one player, like the first time I saw her, she's warming up, not even 5 minutes. And I'm like, listen, you're not bending. You're not bending. You're not, you need to bend. She looked at me, she caught her eye. I was like,
Wow.
all right, I ain't got nothing else to tell you, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
all through the season, she's standing, standing, standing. I was like, I just told you that the first day that you need to bend, you have to be low to receive the attack. Now
Yeah.
you wondering why you're not being successful because you didn't listen. And I'm not gonna bust my head trying to get you to do what I want to do when you have an attitude or you don't want to do it. So I don't know.
That's fine. So I got a couple more quick hitters. If you could relive one sporting memory, what would it be?
I mean, that I played actually would be probably in Barbados when the junior national team went to play, and it was like all my friends was there. Actually, my dad almost not let me go to that
Wow.
Barbados because I didn't play baseball to his liking that week. I don't know. But yeah, the coach was calling the house, the players were calling. I was the starting setter. So they was like, no, you have to let them go. So I cried my eyes out that day. But I would like to relive that moment. It was like we had like so many people went. I think Akito went. This guy named Delani Ford was there. Elisa was there. Elisa Sanchez. Um, Jason Bao was there. I remember falling off like one little. I'm not gonna tell because I didn't tell my parents, but I fell. I fell off a building. We was playing
That
around.
was crazy.
Sophia Maxwell was there too.
Yeah, Sophia,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, and it was like
Wow.
Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. We just flew back, and it was just one story, and we fell down, and we didn't hurt ourselves. But yeah, that was. I would like to relive that moment. Barbados is a
That's
really
awesome.
good island. I had so much fun.
Awesome.
We didn't win, but I would like to relive it. It was a good time in sports and St. Croix in general. Yeah.
You if you had to choose a position to play volleyball for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Uh, that's tough because my heart is being a setter, but I mean, I like to be a hitter because I like to, I'm like the leader type slash stud player. I want the ball, like
Yeah.
I want to attack and get that kill. But as a setter too, I can attack also because I'm tall enough, and on the second contact I could jump up. Oh, another skill is learning how to hit with your two hands. That's super important. Like, don't just get stuck in like, oh, I'm a right hand player. I'm gonna just hit with my right. You have to learn to hit with your left, hit with your right. That's
It's
super
interesting.
important. That's
It's
that's a
interesting.
skill that's gonna get you, further if you're an attacker. That's super important. So I mean, I guess an attacker, but I like to set. So that's tough.
Because because the attacker, the outside hitters, they get the glory. They get
Yes,
the more,
definitely,
the fame
definitely.
and all that stuff. But
The
usually the
setter is the
setters
one
is
that
the
really setting you up. Like,
yeah, they're like the glue of the team. Like
yeah.
they're like, so I got you on that one.
I mean,
Who
I'm a player that wherever you need me, like I'm there. You know, you need me to play the libero. You know, liberos wear a different color shirt. So it's like, you need me to be that day, put me in. You need me to attack, I'll get you. If you need me to serve, put me in to just serve. You need me to set. I pretty much can play. I don't like middle blocker. I don't. And that's why I love Luzzy. I love Elisa. You know, they played in the middle. I love Amber because they were my go-to people. And, you know, like, so let's say you got a free ball over. That means that they pass the ball over and it's an easy lob ball.
Yeah.
The person receiving it, now they can change the pace of the game. So if they pass the ball really high into a rainbow, you giving your opponents time to set up their block, right?
That's true.
On a free ball, most coaches will have the player, you know, give a shorter ball to the setter so they could run a quick. So don't give the ball as a rainbow in a free ball. Give it a shorter pass so that you could pick up the pace of your team.
Okay.
So, you know, that's another thing to learn as a player, how you could speed up or slow down the game. So if you know that your team member's not ready, you may want to give a higher pass to your setter so your team members could set up. But if they're ready to attack, you give a shorter pass to the setter, and then she'll quick set, or they'll quick set the attacker, and then you have a higher chance of getting a kill.
Interesting. Because the last couple of weeks, I was watching a lot of the women's college volleyball. You know,
That's
tournament.
what I was gonna ask you. Which one did you watch?
I watched maybe, I want to say almost the final 16 teams. I want to say I didn't get to see the championship game.
Okay.
But
when you get a chance, you should go back and watch that.
The championship game
was Texas against Kentucky.
Yeah, did Kentucky end up winning, right?
Kentucky won, but because of the coach's fault, I feel.
You know what? I see the first set, and that was the first what you call it, the set, right? The first set. Yeah, I saw the first set, and that was it. I didn't see the whole championship game, but I remember seeing the first set. So I did catch the first set, and that was it. And then I want to say maybe last week I was watching. I want to say the men's was playing. I forget the two schools, but
yeah, I like Hawaii and I like
Hawaii was playing
on the men's team. Yeah.
Oh, it was Hawaii and BYU was playing actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Those
are the top teams.
Yeah.
Right now in D1.
That was a championship game, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Okay, yeah. So the speed I gave was crazy. Like the men and women speed in college was just night and day. I was like, geez, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like how fast, but I watch more of the women's tournament more than the men. I just end up seeing the men championship game on TV. But with that being said, is there a favorite? I know since you were into coaching, is there a favorite college team you like watching, male or female, that you like to see them play?
Yeah, well, this year it was Texas all the way for me. Like Texas, I feel they should have won. I feel they could have won. I think the coach made his move way too late. So I say that to say, and I want you to go back and watch it.
I'm gonna go watch it.
See if I was right, because so me and Juju are watching the game. So Texas beats Kentucky the first set. The second set, Kentucky beats Texas. The reason why Kentucky beat Texas was because their setter was 5'8". The setter is blocking their strongest hitter on the other side.
Wow.
So she's killing the setter. And that's how Kentucky won the second set. By third set, me and Juju was like, they need to take that girl out when she comes to the front row. Not that they're going to take her out all the game. They just need the taller setter to cover up her hole.
Yeah.
That's it. And you have a taller setter. You have a taller setter that you played through to get to where you got to go. That's one move. He had 3 different options. He could have put in the taller setter when the setter comes in the front row and use the setter to cover up the block. That way, you're telling the coach, hey, I see what you're doing. Now let me see how you're going to counteract to when me put in the taller setter. Let's see how you're going to get around my block. That's one. The second move, he has this girl named Melanie Parra. She's 16 or 17, but she comes from Mexico. She's on the national team. She's played international games. She helped them beat Baylor, and she helped them beat Texas State. You could have put her in for the setter to cover the block or to give you another attack. And you had this other girl named Malou. That they're right sides, but they could have covered that whole field. What the coach was doing, he started switching the middle blocker with the shorter setter and just switching them where they were. So you just taking one hole and putting the hole in the next spot.
Yeah. So they're gonna exploit that.
What the coach is gonna do, and you as a hitter, as a smart hitter, was like, oh, so you're just opening up another hole for me. I'm gonna just go cross court now.
Yeah.
So like you wasn't patching up the hole. You were just opening up in a different way. And that's how he lost the game. You know what he did? He put in the taller setter in the 5th set when Kentucky has 14 and he has like 12 or 11. You didn't even give the girl a chance to prove herself. Yeah, all Kentucky did was set the ball to the hot hitter. They got the kill and they got the win. So that's how I feel as a coach. And maybe they would have lost if he did that thing, but you had 3 options.
Yeah.
On your bench. So why are you recruiting these girls that are so good when you don't play them? And that's what coaches in D1 schools, they get stuck on their 6 players because they got them to where they got to go and they just want to stick with those 6 players. No, you have to use all your ammunition. You have 6 other girls that are equally as good. So, I mean, that's a good game to watch. Definitely, like, and then you gotta hit me up and tell me, hey, I saw what you were saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for that game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, because I did see the first set. Usually, because I always watch college volleyball, you know, sporadically, you know, especially during like when it's the tournament and stuff like that. Usually, isn't it Penn State? I want to say it's like one of the more top team. Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State, Stanford. Stanford is really good. But Stanford had a player named Catherine Plummer. Now, she was the leader. She was the stud. She was everything for the team. Like, you give her the ball, is guaranteed a hit. She's playing overseas now, I think in Italy or Belgium or whatever. But this year, they didn't really have a competitive team. The other thing, Nebraska is a good team too. They lost to Texas. And the story with Nebraska is the one girl, Lexi Sun, she used to play for Texas. She transferred from Texas to Nebraska. Wow. And then she got the loss. They lost to Texas. So with her, she has not gotten a championship ring since.
Wow.
And the reality is, if she stayed at Texas, she would have probably had 2 rings already.
Yeah, she would have had her. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that's another thing. You, as a player, is not always to favor the best team. You know? Like, if you're a good player, you have a pretty decent squad, you're better off at this team than at that team. You know, you can't go because this team has most championships or whatever, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So that was really hard, I know, to watch for her because this is her senior year, so she has no other, you know, chances to win.
Yeah. Wow. The team that you left end up beating you and they end up winning the champion. They end up losing the championship.
Well, no, they lost, but they beat you, so you couldn't, you know, hey. And I think pretty much that was their mission, to like beat Nebraska because she transferred. We're gonna beat them. And they kind of lost the gas when they came to Kentucky, but I don't know. But Kentucky got them Skinner sisters, like their sisters.
Yeah, the sisters, yeah.
Outside. Yeah.
Yeah, the sisters.
And they were awesome.
Yeah.
And then they had this other girl, I forget her name, but that's the other girl was the one that was killing the setter on the front row. I forget her name. That's bad.
Yeah.
But,
so my next quick hit. My next quick hit up. Actor to play your life story in a movie.
maybe Rosario Dawson.
Okay.
I don't know.
She's a good actor.
I think she's a really good actress.
What would have been your dream school to play college volleyball for?
Probably Penn State. Yeah, because there was this guy Ricky Nielsen. He was also on the national team. He had went to Penn State, and when he came back, he was flying out the gym, like killing the ball. And I was like, wow, like if I go to Penn State, I'll probably play like that, you know? So yeah, Penn State. They did okay this year. They didn't make it to the Final Four, but they had a good team.
They had a good team. Five favorite volleyball players from the Virgin Islands. Your 5 favorite. That 5 favorite that you love to see play.
Well, Bianca Stevens. That I don't know if you know Daria Stevens. I went to school with Daria, in Woodson, and I didn't even know his sister was Bianca. When I met her playing volleyball, I was like, "That's your sister?" I was like, Bianca Stevens was a beast. Like she hurt her Achilles tendon, which kind of cut her career short, I believe.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, injuries are like, listen, I can't stress to the kids about warming up, training yourself properly to play the game, because injuries will take you out, and you don't know sometimes how long it's gonna take you out for, you know.
That's true.
So Bianca Stevens, Ricky Nielsen, Arlene Shang, Kai Shang's wife, yes, Melissa, Persha Gregg. I love Persha Gregg. Luzzy was a really great player. I don't know if you got to see him play, but he was exceptional. He was a really good friend of mine. Actually, my mom's name is Luz. Her middle name is Luz, but it has double meaning for me too, you know? I added that middle name. It wasn't given to me. Because I wanted, Luz means light. And so it reminded me of my mom, and it reminded me of him. You know, it's definitely like, I know he would have been my number one supporter right now, you know, like definitely like he's the first one that like put me on to, like, let's say the time is 3:33. He's like, oh, make a wish or whatever, you know. And every time I see that, like, I think of him, you know. It's crazy.
Wow, that's amazing. Definitely rest in peace to Luzzy, man.
Yeah,
amazing human being, amazing person, very funny, very funny. Janae, she mentioned that all of the players received an additional year of eligibility due to COVID, and Avery Skinner is headed to Baylor to play out her 5th year, and most of the seniors are transferred.
Really? Oh, wow, that would be good, because Yaciana Presley, she's, if you get a chance, check out Baylor.
I've seen, Presley, I remember the name.
She jumps out the roof. So Avery Skinner with Presley, that's gonna be an awesome, like, wow. Because that's all she needs on Baylor is another person like her, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you have one Haas and you killing the Haas. You know, it's like you building the team around her. Sometimes she's not gonna, you know.
You always need that sidekick. You always need that next posse.
You need like a duo or something. Or trio. If you're lucky to have your whole 6 that are killers, you're lucky. But if you have one that's really taking the team, like if you have another girl, I think that would be awesome. I did not know that. Thank you, Janae. That would be great. That would be so great.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting next year.
Yes, definitely. But Texas is still coming, and they're gonna probably play the bench more. So they still have an elite squad, Texas. So it'll be Texas and Baylor, maybe even Nebraska again. I don't know.
So you mentioned you traveled the VI team to Barbados. Were there any other countries that you traveled with the team?
We went to Jamaica one year. I think we came in third or fourth in those games. We went to Puerto Rico. Where else? Puerto Rico, Jamaica, and Barbados. I think those are just the three places I traveled with the team.
And which, well, you probably gonna say Barbados, but which trip did you enjoy the most?
Well, Barbados I did the most. Jamaica was really good too, cause it's like you have this. Oh, we're in Jamaica. Like they had us in a college dorm, University of Mona, and it was all like, for me, the excitement of just being to Jamaica, where it's like, hey, it's a little dangerous, a little like, okay, we're having fun. So I don't know. That was fun too, Jamaica.
Which atmosphere was the best to play in? Like you really embraced that atmosphere playing.
Well, I remember both of them being on cement courts, and that wasn't cool.
That's not good.
But yeah, it's like, yeah, that was definitely different. Definitely different playing on concrete, coming from training in a gym, And two, like it gave them the advantage because they trained all year on a cement court, and then it's like
so they got accustomed to that. Andrew said BYU versus Hawaii game the game is on now on ESPNU. So
okay,
I'll definitely
BYU has this player from Puerto Rico named Gabby Garcia Hernandez. I think Gabby Hernandez. And last year he was like dominating, and this year, that's the thing with sports. Now they have his number. They know what to do now for him. So he's not being as effective as he was last year. So that'll be good to see that game, BYU against Hawaii.
Yeah, they got film on him now, so they definitely study his tendencies and patterns and
Hawaii has this. He has Papa. I forget his name, Papanovich or something. He's a beast on the Hawaii team. And then they have this other kid. He's not so tall, but he has jumps. He has ups, and he's like really like, the supporting kind of, player to that bigger. I think he's from Europe somewhere, the Papanovich or whatever.
Okay. So I got my final quick hitter question. 5 dinner guests, dead or alive?
That's tough. I mean, definitely Luzzy and, probably like Kobe and his daughter, because they would, those are just three that were taken way too soon. I don't know. I don't want to be like, but I would like to have dinner with the Obamas and see, what, what they have to say about the world and what's going on now.
It's a good 5. That's a good 5. There's gonna be a lot of jokes at that table. It's gonna be fun.
Know, right?
That's gonna be fun, yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. So before we come to a close, is there anything you want to mention or touch on that I didn't ask or brought up or anything?
No, I mean, I just want to emphasize to, like, you know, the kids that are coming, like, I'm available whenever, you know, like, I'll provide my information. Like, if you want to send me tapes, I have, you know, people I coached um one summer with St. John University,
Oh,
and I
nice.
was able to meet Joanne Persico, and I'm always like seeing the assistant coach Mario because he's also a referee. So, you know, like, just send me tape, send me whatever, and I'll look at it. You know, I'll have, you know, the coaches around me look at it and see what we can do to, you know, improve on your game, what you can do, or even like, you know, if we need to write letters or reach out to these coaches, like,
Oh,
hey,
awesome.
you know, we have these. I reached out to Miss Hobson, you know, I tried to connect her with the coach at Baruch, you know, like, again, the difficulty is it's a business school, you know, it's pretty intense with the acceptance process and stuff. But I have Coach Juju has connections at Pace University. She knows the coach at St. John's also. Um, she's a Mercy College alumni, so she knows the coach at Mercy. So definitely, you know, like, reach out, you know, and I would love to help in any way I can, you know. And I want to give back and I want to elevate the gameplay because there's no way that they're players. I know players that were so great that come from St. Croix and Thomas that our national team is not ranked higher than what it is, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like these players, you know, me also, I speak for myself. I just left the island and, you know, it's like I had my own things going on, but I'm ready now to give back, you know,
That's
and
awesome.
like, it'll take, you know, people coming back to give, you know, to the community so it can elevate the game and, you know, building these schools and preparing the youth for, you know, the challenges they have ahead in the sport or to achieve their goals as players.
Before you mentioned something, and I want to I'm gonna ask you with the players them in college getting an extra year of eligibility, right? And a lot of the seniors are transferring and stuff. That's taking away opportunities for incoming high schoolers, etc. Now, with some of the high school athletes, if they had goals of attending this certain college, but they can't attend due to maybe the reduction of scholarships, you know, the financial situation due to the pandemic, you know, is it how is the transfer protocol for a kid maybe going to a smaller school for 1 year or maybe 2 years and then transferring? Is it difficult or is it pre or is it is
I
player
I
friendly?
think for Baruch is a little easier as a transfer student to get in as opposed to like you going in new as a freshman. I don't know if they still have a rule if you transfer, you have to wait off a year or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, Christy, it was amazing. It was amazing. You dropped a lot of gems. You man, hopefully, you know, a lot of kids are able to, you know, see your episode, and you know, kind of get some knowledge and some wisdom and some, you know, advice of, you know, approaching the game of volleyball and just, you know, focus on some of the more important stuff, you know, with techniques and, you know, the different skill set and, you know, having that communication with your coach about how to get better and stuff. It was amazing, you know, hearing your journey, you know, congrats on everything that you're doing, you know, congrats on your business, and hopefully you're able to branch off to Orlando and other places and, you know, build that as well too, you know.
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're definitely
Oh,
welcome.
and I ordered my melted by Croix. So go and get
Yeah, yeah.
your wax warmers. Yeah, I definitely jumped on that. I'm waiting for it in the mail. So
Okay.
I'll let you know how it is.
It's gonna be you're gonna smell it. You're gonna be smelling it when you open up the
Yeah,
box or however you get. You're gonna definitely smell it. It's amazing. I love it. I love the scent. It's not
good.
too
I can't
strong. It's
wait.
not too weak. Yeah,
I love
it's
candles.
perfect.
I have like Glade plugins in every outlet. Like, forget
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like, I can't wait.
You gonna get rid of the Glade plugins and stuff when you get the
I
Bantam by
know, right?
Croix. Yeah,
I ordered
definitely.
the island. What I forget what it was. I'm not even gonna lie about it. You know, I
Yeah,
got the island something. I don't know. I'll go back and see.
yeah. It's good, man. It's good. Janae doing big things. It's good sense. I like it. So that's good. That's good. Island Colada.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes.
I mean, thank you,
Yeah, I
Sherman.
got that one.
Yeah, I was trying to remember the name too, and I couldn't remember because I got well. She sent me some samples, but I bought like 4 or 5 different kinds. So you know,
Yeah, definitely support, the local I have a cousin that she sells food on St. Croix. Her name is Giovanna, so for
Giovanna.
those that are St. Croix, Giovanna Camacho.
Okay, Giovanna
Osorio,
Camacho.
sorry, Giovanna Osorio. Um
Osorio.
yeah, she's selling food in St. Croix, so very good food.
Nice, nice. Is there anything
But
else you
yeah,
want? Oh,
I want to come in August. I want to plan a trip. So I want to reach out to these coaches and stuff so I can, see like what's going on and how I can help out on the island.
yeah, that'd definitely be great. That'd definitely be good.
Thank you, Janae. She said it's on the way. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good. Well, Christy, it was great. It was great getting to know you and hearing your story. And man, I wish you all the best.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with everything, and hopefully you get a
And
chance.
I hope your situation improves too. I was listening on and you said
Yeah,
you have some complications. But yeah,
on the
I wouldn't
situation.
mind
Yeah.
helping you out in some interviews if you need someone also.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. I appreciate that. It. I was gonna say, oh, it was amazing just hearing your story and your perseverance and your your sacrifices and you know going all the way to Idaho and coming
Yeah,
back and going up north to New York, man. It's amazing. And sometimes those trials and tribulations and adversity and stuff and sacrifices you make end up benefiting you in the future. So you sound like
yeah,
you're a great volleyball coach. So hopefully you got a chance to really somehow you could get in contact with some of the volleyball coaches back home and really probably do a clinic or a camp or something, man. Hopefully that'd be dope. Share some of your
yeah.
experiences.
I mean, I try as like my whole vision is like a collaboration of all the coaches. My dad,
Yeah,
Nemi, Miss Hobson. I coach with Hurley and Lynn. Like he was the more yelly coach, and I'll
yeah,
experience that. Um, yeah, it's like a collaboration. Miss Juju, Kevin Edwards, all of these coaches definitely like, I took from all these coaches, the coaches that trained me, who I coached with, you know, and it's just a learning, experience, and whatever knowledge I have, I'm like so passionate in transferring it to the young kids. And yeah, seeing them smile and excel in the sport that I love so much, that's like I'm so proud.
that's awesome.
That makes me so proud. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best feeling.
Unfortunately, my nieces didn't pick up to the volleyball and stuff, so I can coach. So I have to, you know, indulge in teaching other people's daughters and sons and stuff. So, but hopefully, they're still young, to pick up something. Hopefully, it clicks on them. Maybe they're watching now. Adaya Sahara, Brianna, pick up a ball.
hopefully, in time they pick up a ball. So
Yeah,
that'll be great.
hopefully.
Yeah. Well, shout out to all the viewers. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys supporting Christy
Yeah.
and her episode. Appreciate you guys chiming in, asking good questions and making comments and helping us, etc. Appreciate you guys and always your support and everything. So
But
definitely,
definitely try to get Melissa Shank Simmons or Bianca Stevens. Miss Hobson, she's in charge of the federation. Miss Nemi, Ophelia Felix Jackson.
yeah.
She's a great coach. I know she was going for senator back home too.
That's true.
Definitely these people, deserve to be on this platform and
Oh,
sharing their
definitely.
stories because they have a wealth of knowledge, beyond mine, because they taught
Yeah.
me. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they have stories about all the kids that came under their, coaching and all that. So
Yeah, and hopefully, yeah, definitely. We welcome anybody to come on the platform. So we definitely like to show love to everybody. So definitely. So I've spoken to Melissa, a few times and stuff, and she was doing a lot of stuff, so she couldn't come on, but she will come on eventually. That's
yeah,
hopefully.
she's been such for me because seeing her play so hard, like she was like the hardest player to me, like, and she was a setter, so we shared the same position, and
Yeah.
like we were pretty cool. I remember showing her like my pictures of my first surgery. She was like, "That's your leg." It was all bruised up, like, and she was
Yeah,
shaking her
that's
head
tough.
like,
Yeah,
she
serious.
couldn't believe it. But
Yeah.
definitely, I'm excited to see what her daughter is gonna do at Benedict.
Yeah,
Um,
that's awesome.
and Janae's daughter. I heard that she's a beast setter. I would love to experience that, and whatever I can help, to improve her game, I would love to,
Yeah,
you know.
that's awesome. Yeah, definitely. Real quick before we tap out, definitely you mentioned Lozzie name a few times today on your episode. Definitely want to send a shout out and rest in peace to Lozzie, man. So definitely rest in peace to Lozzie. Made an impact in a lot of people's lives, and it was great for you to acknowledge that on your episode, and his name gonna continue to live on. So definitely, man. Much love to Lozzie. Much love to the family. Rest in peace to Lozzie. Everyone, we're out. Elite Podcast, Christy, episode 82. It was amazing. It was fun. It was great. So I appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule to come on and bless us with your story.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. No problem. Good night, everybody. Good night. Have a good night. Everybody be safe. Have a good week.